Good evening. It was an explosion and fire that rocked a quiet court in Mississauga this morning. Originally, firefighters said no one was injured.
But late this afternoon, word the fire is now a fatality. We're expecting an update from officials within the hour. CTV's Janice Golding is live at the scene tonight near Mavis and Eglinton with the latest. Janice.
Hi, Nathan. As you can imagine, residents here on Select Court are in shock tonight. They'd initially believed that the people who lived in the home behind us had escaped this fire. However, they've recently learned that at least one person is dead. Fire crews surround a Mississauga home trying to staunch a fire that's completely consuming the structure.
We were just getting ready for bed and then we heard a loud boom.
Somehow we could gather our personal possessions quickly, the essential documents, and we ran out.
It was 10:40 p.m. and residents on Select Court were getting ready to turn in for the night.
And then suddenly I hear a huge explosion, and my husband and I ran to see what happened. Of course, we devastated with a blast.
Neighbors called 911 as they watched the fire rage through the home.
We were all outside. We were very scared, actually, terrified that the fire would come out here.
Oh my God, it was blown up so big and it was flaring up, and also with the wind, it was making like a tunnel, kind of a funnel kind of fire. It was whipping to our house.
While they worried about their own homes and families, residents also expressed concerns about the people who lived inside the home.
We know the family, like we've seen them, they have like some little children.
When it started, your first instinct is to try to help them, but you really should not be. And just the only thing I could do is call 911 and get in touch with the fire department and please beg them to come as fast as they possibly could.
The 911 call cited a number of people inside the home.
There were initial reports there may have been 8 people inside, so an enormous relief when crews confirmed there was nobody inside.
Mississauga Fire originally believed there were no injuries. However, late this afternoon, crews made a horrifying discovery. At least one person had been found in the wreckage.
It's terrifying. That's all I can say, right? It's sad, very, very sad.
As the shock reverberates through the neighborhood, residents say they'd like to understand exactly how this came to pass.
Things do happen. Now depends why that happened.
The Ontario Fire Marshal's office is investigating. Now, Mississauga Fire originally believed that the family who owns this home was actually overseas in Vietnam. However, area residents tell CTV News that their neighbors rented their basement out, although they could not say exactly how many people lived there. Reporting live from Janice Golding, now back to Michelle.
Thank you, Janice. Also tonight, new revelations in the Air Canada crash at LaGuardia, the tragic chain of events that claimed 2 pilots, one of whom has ties to Toronto.
But first, get ready to see Toronto Police tactical officers in key areas of the city. The service announcing today it's creating a new counter-terrorism unit.
They're expected to patrol areas around places of worship and tourist hubs, a move police say is necessary given current global events. CTV's John Woodward is live tonight with details and reaction to the police plan. John.
Michelle, it's called Project Guardian. The idea to station police officers armed with semi-automatic weapons at key points to deter violence. At the same time, police say they're also restricting protests that have been going on for some time at Bathurst and Sheppard to that intersection, a move some critics are concerned could be unconstitutional.
That's who I want.
This is video of a handful of pro-Palestinian protesters walking in a residential neighborhood near Bathurst and Sheppard in November, among them Daniela Bonamico.
Like, we're there for Gaza, right? Now we're seeing Lebanon being besieged in the exact same way. The West Bank has been absolutely brutalized, endless deaths.
A cause that has brought their group to this area for more than 70 Sundays in a row, only veering from the intersection a few times, she says. But that's intimidating the neighborhood, says Councillor James Pasternak.
Well, look, we want them out of Bathurst and Sheppard, too. They've been up there for a year and a half. There's no consulates, no embassies. No government buildings, no civic squares. They are up there to harass the local Jewish community.
Toronto police seem to have obliged, telling protesters the main streets are okay, but anywhere else is a no-go.
We will tell people that they cannot do that. We will physically block them. And if they try to disobey that instruction, they will be arrested and charged with obstruct police.
That's alarmed civil liberties groups who say it's unconstitutional.
From our perspective, this is an obvious attack on freedom of expression and freedom of peaceful assembly.
The police say there have been around 20 arrests since the protest began. In that time, some synagogues have been shot at as well. But the police didn't try to get an injunction, as the province did for the Al-Quds Day protest a few weeks ago, an attempt that failed.
We are witnessing a rise in hatred, and we agree that it threatens the cohesion of our communities. But we must build a more inclusive society without compromising the freedoms that define our society.
As for Project Guardian, officers will be visible with semi-automatic weapons in key areas, though we've not heard which ones.
Torontonians can expect to see Toronto police officers deployed with tactical capabilities, including patrol rifles. If you see these officers, whether it's around places of worship or tourist hubs, it does not mean there's an imminent threat. What it means is we are strategically positioning resources to protect our communities and to be able to respond quickly if necessary.
Protesters tell CTV News they feel the limits are a sign their message needs to be heard, so plan to be back at that intersection again next Sunday. Toronto police say their new counterterrorism unit will be in close contact and will share intelligence with our national police forces, RCMP's similar unit, with critics hoping that all of this is done within the Constitution. Reporting live from Toronto Police Headquarters, I'm John Woodward. Back to you.
Thank you, John. Students and union members gathered outside Queen's Park this afternoon to protest the Ford government's recent changes to OSAP.
The group is calling on the province to reverse funding cuts, which they say will prevent students from attending post-secondary school. CTV's Queen's Park Bureau Chief Siobhan Morris is live tonight with more. Siobhan.
Well, this wasn't the sea of thousands the legislature had been prepared for, but we did see hundreds of students just outside Queen's Park. They're angry, they're scared, and they're hoping that the government will have a change of heart.
Outside the legislature, students from across Ontario make noise about a shift in OSAP. Shut it down! It means they'll have to lean harder on loans they have to pay back.
These funds will really help me, get on my feet, especially afterwards. I plan on going to law school, so that's going to draw me in even more debt.
Brenna's rethinking her plan to study early childhood education this fall.
I don't come from generational wealth. I'm on my own when it comes to college. I'm not getting any support from my family. I also don't have a job right now. I've been looking for months.
Dahlia's already tapping into OSAP grants on a path she hopes will lead to a career in gynecology.
I'm possibly looking at completely throwing away a dream I've had since I was 4.
Inside the legislature, the leader of the opposition says students feel like they're slipping through the cracks.
They're just asking for a chance, a fair chance to finish what they started or start at all.
The minister insists there is help available.
There's many different opportunities for bursaries and grants. Our universities give $1.8 billion of bursaries and grants every single year, as well as our student access guarantee.
To the Liberals, that sounds like
you need to go more into debt. We're going to make it harder for you. We're piling on the debt. The minister doesn't get it.
The minister says the shift away from grants is necessary because the current model is not sustainable.
You know what's not sustainable? Spending $100 billion on a stupid tunnel under the 401 or billions of dollars to build a fantasy island for a convention center.
Students aren't thrilled with the idea of more loans, whether they're through OSAP or a bank.
Loans are always really difficult because you have to pay them back, and that's even more money that's being drained from your wallet.
Worried about getting a job to fill in a financial hole after graduation.
This provincial government has been doing bugger all to help people when they come out of university get jobs, and now they're attacking people trying to get into university and college.
The government has called any debt an investment in the future. It's also pumping over $6 billion more into post-secondary education over the next 4 years.
At the last protest earlier this month, we did see some conflict between protesters and police, and a statue was vandalized. We didn't see any of that repeated this time. Reporting live from Queen's Park, I'm Siobhan Morris. Nathan and Michelle, back to you.
Thank you, Siobhan. We have more news in a moment, but first a look at the forecast. Here's a live shot of the city line. Mainly cloudy skies. The trend will continue tomorrow, but then we've got a warm-up on the way. Lindsay Morrison has a look at the current conditions. Hey, Lindsay.
Hey, Nathan. It sure was nice to see the sun early this morning, but yes, the cloud cover has taken over, and we have a few flurries flying in places like Sutton, Keswick, down south towards Stouffville, and perhaps in the Uxbridge area. Also a little bit of activity around Grimsby over towards St. Catharines. Temperature-wise, yeah, we did make it to a daytime high of about 4 degrees in Toronto. It's 3 degrees at the Island, Oakville, Burlington, and Grimsby at this hour. We'll widen things out a little bit so you can see that temperatures are near freezing again around the city of Barrie. We've had gusty winds today out of the west. As we make our way into the night tonight, all is pretty calm and quiet, seasonal for an overnight temperature. But you're right, Nathan, that temperature is going to soar into the day on Thursday. We'll talk all about it coming up. But for now, back to you.
Thank you, Lindsay. We turn now to the latest on the investigation into that deadly collision involving an Air Canada jet in New York.
The National Transportation Safety Board began its first full day of examination, and among the questions being asked, why did the fire truck not have the capability to trigger a warning system? CTV's Adrian Gobriel has the latest.
With the twisted, tangled wreckage of Air Canada Express Flight 8646 still strewn across LaGuardia Airport's runway 4, new details today on the tragic chain of events. The U.S. Port Authority fire truck that collided with the Air Canada Express passenger plane didn't have a tracking device on board to alert LaGuardia Airport's surface detection equipment of its location.
You have to know where ground vehicles and aircraft are. So in this case, that vehicle did not have a transponder.
We're also learning crucial details from the final moments recorded inside the cockpit as the Air Canada flight made its final descent.
At 54 seconds, the flight crew acknowledged that the airplane was 500 feet above the ground and on a stable approach. At 25 seconds, Truck 1 requested to cross runway 4 at taxiway Delta. At 20 seconds, the tower cleared Truck 1 and company to cross runway 4. At 9 seconds, the tower instructed Truck 1 to stop.
Stop, Truck 1, stop, Truck 1, stop, Truck 1, stop.
At least 10 calls to stop went unanswered as air traffic control watched the scene unfold in real time. The impact claiming the life of pilot Antoine Foray, who grew up southwest of Montreal. Foray's brother Cedric sharing this childhood photo on Facebook while writing in part, "Have a good flight, my brother. Oh yes, we've heard the phrase often, but this time it will be the last. You left us again. Too soon to say goodbye. I love you, my brother. You can leave with your head held high." At Seneca College campuses today, Canadian flags are at half-mast for co-pilot Mackenzie Gunther, who graduated with honors in aviation technology. There are also stories of survival. Flight attendant Solange Tremblay suffered multiple leg fractures after she was ejected from the aircraft while still strapped to her jump seat. Her family calling her survival miraculous. Aviation experts believe the pilots may have saved the lives of dozens of passengers.
The crew, in my opinion, heroically did what they could to slow the aircraft down and to lessen the impact.
This comes as confirmation that 3 Canadian Transportation Safety Board inspectors arrived at the crash scene this morning to work in lockstep with their U.S. counterparts.
They are entitled to tour the wreckage. They also have access to most of the recorded information that will be collected during the investigation.
As for the flight data recorder, analysis on that is expected to begin today, with a transcript of the cockpit voice recorder released tomorrow. Adrian Gobriel, CTV News, Queens, New York.
Toronto police say a man on the most wanted list has been arrested in the U.S. 28-year-old Adrian Walker was wanted on a Canada-wide warrant in connection with a homicide in Oakwood Village nearly 2 years ago. He was also on the BOLO program's 25 most wanted list. Police say he was arrested in Mississippi yesterday and will be sent to Toronto to face charges of first-degree murder and attempted murder in the shooting that claimed the life of 31-year-old Trevor John. John and a woman were shot near Winona Drive and Vaughan Road in the early morning hours of May 7, 2024. The woman survived while John died in hospital. 20-year-old Kemian Franklin is also charged with first-degree murder and attempted murder.
Shots were fired in Brampton overnight. Officers called to a home on Grendon Crescent near Chinguacousy and Queen. Multiple shots were fired and a number of shell casings were found on the road. A pickup truck in the driveway was struck by gunfire, several bullet holes visible. No injuries have been reported, and police have not provided any details about possible suspects at this stage.
A crash on an off-ramp from Highway 403 in Mississauga injured 3 people. It happened on the westbound 403 ramp to Erin Mills Parkway around 11 p.m. Peel paramedics say a man was taken to a trauma center with serious injuries. 2 others suffered less severe injuries. The ramp was closed for several hours for the cleanup and police investigation. And a truck went up in flames in Vaughan. York police were called to a home on Bellwood Boulevard near Dufferin and Confederation Parkway around 1:45 in the morning. When they arrived, a truck parked in the driveway was on fire. The incident is being investigated as a possible arson. Nobody was hurt.
An Oakville Catholic priest has been charged with sexual assault, and police are concerned there may be more victims. 53-year-old Reverend Ranjan Disa is accused of sexually assaulting a woman who was volunteering at St. Dominic's Roman Catholic Church last month. Halton police say he's been a member of the clergy since 2010 and has worked at the church since 2016. Disa is facing 1 count of sexual assault. Police want to speak to anyone else who may have been assaulted or anyone who may have information.
CAA's launched its annual Worst Roads campaign and is calling on drivers to weigh in on which streets and highways are causing the most problems.
CTV's John Musselman has the details.
Driving on Eglinton Avenue West near Dufferin today, and you can feel and hear the bumps. It made the top 10 list of the CAA's worst roads in Ontario in 2025. Drivers who use it say they aren't surprised.
It seems that there's always construction going on. It took forever to get the subway going in here, and now they got the road all paved to here, and it's all busted up at the top. It's like your car, you're going over rough rides. I'm with my mother in the car, and she's bouncing all over the place.
It's so terribly bad because it's been rough for years now, and you only paved 1 time in 34 years that I know about.
This is very bad, a lot of holes. And I stopped driving by here because it could make my car so bad with your tires.
The CAA survey looks at everything from cracked pavement, congestion, and potholes.
Even from our data, we're seeing that 2/3 of our members are either slowing down or swerving to avoid a pothole, which could be a road safety concern and can put other folks on the road at risk.
2 roads in Hamilton took top spot. Aberdeen Avenue and Barton Street East. Eglinton Avenue West was ranked the worst in Toronto. Also on the list, County Road 49 in Prince Edward County. Here, Ontario, Highway 50, the Gardner Expressway, and Shepherd Avenue West. The annual survey for next year's campaign kicks off today. Officials at CAA say the information collected helps to promote road improvement.
We then take that data and we'll continue the conversation with different levels of government in order to ensure and to continue making infrastructure funding a priority.
The City of Toronto has already filled more than 54,000 potholes this year following a very harsh winter. John Musselman, CTV News.
Well, Toronto is 1 step closer to welcoming soccer fans from across the globe for the FIFA World Cup.
The city and MLSC are celebrating the completion of key upgrades to BMO Field, also known as Toronto Stadium, ahead of the big tournament. CTV's Raheem Ladani has the details.
The major upgrades to Toronto Stadium for the upcoming FIFA World Cup are now complete, marking a significant milestone after construction started in December 2024.
You have the game, you have good music, good sound, and you can big screen, all the seats are ready, good food. I can't ask for more.
Nearly $158 million was spent to satisfy FIFA requirements and for permanent stadium upgrades. The biggest renovation, expanding the 28,000 capacity with temporary seating to fit 45,000 fans.
You can see just how high the scaffolding needs to be to accommodate the thousands of temporary seats. Now, there have been a lot of questions surrounding the sturdiness of the temporary seating, but today officials confirmed to us they have tested out each and every seat and they are safe.
They've been designed by a company called Arena Group, which designs, constructs this type of hospitality, temporary and permanent, around the world for global sporting events. I haven't been up there with fans jumping and stomping their feet yet, but I've been up there. It's a spectacular view, and it feels perfectly sturdy and safe.
4 permanent LED video boards have also been installed, with the resolution improved by nearly 100%. Whether you have tickets to a World Cup match, TFC, or the Argos in the future, fans will also experience legacy enhancements.
Upgraded the lighting, we've improved the audio system, we've done some work on the concourse, people will experience that, food service.
While self-serve concession technology has been installed, along with a permanent kitchen on the west side, the approximately 200 cooks and 28 chefs will be catering to VIPs, including in this temporary hospitality suite that is still under construction.
Saskatoon berries, the bounty of Ontario with produce and our poultry and our beef.
Players on Team Canada and others from around the world will enjoy an expanded locker room, while the pitch itself has been resurfaced with a hybrid stitching system. It will ensure the grass holds up for many matches in a short amount of time.
We had to take out the existing pitch, we had to dig down 8 inches, and we had to excavate all the materials out of the venue.
This is still an active construction site with much more work to be done before FIFA takes control of the venue on May 12th. Raheem Ladani, CTV News, Toronto.
Still ahead, gearing up for the World Cup on home turf. We catch up with Canada's men's soccer team, readying to rep their country in just over 2.5 months.
Pride organizations across Canada are seeking financial assistance from the federal government as major corporate sponsors withdraw their support. The executive director of Pride Toronto was among those making the case on Parliament Hill today.
At a time like this, we must be clear. Investing in Pride and the 2S LGBTQ+ community organizations is an investment in our community, and our government cannot afford to step back from this.
Community leaders argue Pride events celebrate LGBTQ2S+ people, promote inclusion, and boost tourism. The head of the Toronto Festival was joined by Pride executives from Montreal and Vancouver in seeking $9 million over 3 years to help 200 festivals maintain their operations. Kojo Modesta says Pride will always be political, but insists it creates a platform for the LGBTQ2S+ community that no other organizations do.
The United States has reportedly sent Iran a 15-point plan intended to end the war in the Middle East. That glimmer of hope emerged hours after U.S. President Donald Trump said progress is being made in talks with Tehran.
The leaders are all gone. Nobody knows who to talk to. But we're actually talking to the right people, and they want to make a deal so badly. You have no idea how badly they want to make a deal? Yeah, please.
The 15-point plan includes a month-long ceasefire to discuss details of the proposal. It would also include dismantling Iran's nuclear program, stopping support for proxy groups, and the reopening of the Strait of Hormuz. Tehran has effectively shut the waterway where 20% of the world's oil supply normally passes through. Trump said Iran has made a valuable concession related to the strait and on nuclear energy. Meanwhile, sources say the U.S. is expected to send thousands more soldiers to the Middle East. A residential building in northern Tehran was heavily damaged from airstrikes by U.S. and Israeli forces. A massive blast was heard in northern neighborhoods and another in the city center. Israel says it conducted a large wave of attacks across several areas of the country. They included what the Israelis say were Iranian production sites, without providing more information.
Israel also continued to strike Lebanon, where at least 8 people were killed. Beirut's southern suburbs were hit, with the Israelis saying they were going after infrastructure used by the Iran-linked Hezbollah militant group. Lebanese authorities say Israeli attacks have killed more than 1,000 people and displaced more than 1 million others. Iran fired at least 10 waves of missiles at Israel. 4 people suffered minor wounds in Tel Aviv, while 3 others were injured in strikes in the south. Tehran also attacked other Gulf states, killing a civilian contractor in Bahrain. Saudi Arabia said it deployed Iranian drones, and in Kuwait, power lines were hit by air defense shrapnel. Meanwhile, Pakistan is offering to mediate peace talks. Its prime minister says Pakistan welcomes and fully supports ongoing efforts to pursue dialogue to end the war in the Middle East in the interest of peace and stability in the region and beyond. Subject to concurrence by the U.S. and Iran, Pakistan stands ready and honored to be the host to facilitate meaningful and conclusive talks for a comprehensive settlement of the ongoing conflict.
In Ukraine, there was a massive drone and missile barrage on civilian areas of the country overnight and today. 8 people were killed and several dozen were injured. Ukraine's Air Force says Russia fired more than 550 drones during the day and about the same number overnight, as well as cruise and ballistic missiles. Today, the Ukrainian Prime Minister reported a daylight attack on the crowded center of the western city of Lviv. 2 people were injured, and air defenses engaged drones throughout the day near Kyiv. Ukraine says the enemy is also trying to break through frontline defenses in several key areas. Some experts believe a spring-summer offensive appears to have begun.
NASA announced plans today to build a multi-billion-dollar base on the surface of the moon.
The moon base will not appear overnight. We will invest approximately $20 billion over the next 7 years and build it through dozens of missions, working together with commercial and international partners towards a deliberate and achievable plan.
The space agency says the base will support sustained operations on the lunar surface. It will be constructed using some of the components already built for a planned space station in the moon's orbit. But that project has now been canceled in favor of this base. The change is related to the Artemis mission, which will see astronauts return to the moon's surface for the first time in nearly 60 years. Canadian Jeremy Hansen will fly around the moon as part of that mission. Liftoff is scheduled at this point for April 1st. Coming up on CTV News, the view is unobstructed. We head to the top of the new tallest building in Canada, changing the landscape in Toronto.
And I'm Pat Foran. Coming up on Consumer Alert, with the rising cost of living, some people are looking for side hustles to try and make some extra money, but watch out for job scams. Offers are popping up on social media and in emails and texts, but they're fakes. I'll have that story. That's just ahead.
So tomorrow could play out similarly to how today went. A bit of sun in the morning, followed by an increase in cloud cover. +5, the expected daytime high. That's still a little cool for this time of year, but we will see the temperature spike as we make our way into the day on Thursday. Wait until you see the forecast daytime high. We do cool down over the weekend, and before any of that, we could be in for a bit of active weather in the form of rain or perhaps in the form of snow. So we'll break it all down for you, show you what's in store with a big temperature swing heading into the weekend. Details after the break here on CTV News.
When you see it happen, send it to CTV News. Text 10400 from your screen to ours. Text 10400.
Returning to our top story, an explosion and fire in a Mississauga home. Originally, first responders said no one was injured.
But late this afternoon, they announced the fire was a fatality and are updating the media now on the latest on the investigation. Let's listen in live.
Good evening, everyone, and thank you for coming. My name is Jim Demetrio from the Office of the Fire Marshal. I would like to give you an update in regards to the Office of the Fire Marshal. What we know so far is this is the preliminary stages of our investigation. We do have investigators that were on site earlier. They will be returning tomorrow. We are here to find the origin, cause, and circumstances around the fire that has occurred here. We are presently waiting for heavy equipment to come tomorrow to assist our investigators with moving debris in order for them to continue their investigation. At this point, I do not have the age. We are working with our partners, Peel Police, regarding this matter. I will let Peel Police speak on that matter, but at this stage for the Office of the Fire Marshal, this is preliminary, and we're here to determine the cause and origin of the fire at this point.
Can you get into the firefighting efforts that happened here last night?
I do know Mississauga fire was dispatched. The fire was large, I was told. There was an explosion as well, I was told. But at this point, that's all I know.
Can you tell us where in the house the person was found?
That is part of the investigation. I don't have that information as of yet. So.
What about an area where the explosion started or
Again, that's very preliminary for our investigators to determine that. I don't have an answer for that at this point. I'll turn it over to Ryan Bell from Peel Police to answer any of your questions.
Good evening, Constable Bell to Peel Regional Police, and I'll provide the overview of our involvement in this investigation. As Jim alluded to, there has been an individual located within the structure deceased, and what is happening now is a few things simultaneously. The Office of the Ontario Fire Marshal is conducting an investigation into the cause and origin of the fire, as mentioned. The Coroner's Office will be conducting an investigation into the cause of the death to the individual that is inside, and if any of those investigations determine any type of criminality, Peel Regional Police will be conducting the follow-up on that and looking for the persons responsible. What I can say right now is that we've accounted for the individuals that are supposed to be in the residence. They're out of the country right now. At the time of the fire, which was 10:40 last night, crews responded. There should be no one inside. So right now we've got the difficult task of trying to ascertain who is the individual. We don't have particulars yet as to age or gender, as mentioned, and our investigators are trying to follow up with that. So if there's anybody that may have been coming by the residence to check in on the place, as is common when people travel, that's something that we're looking into right now. But unfortunately, no concrete leads.
Just one person found inside the home?
At the moment, one person. That's subject to change. As Jim mentioned, there's going to be heavy equipment arriving on scene, hopefully tomorrow, to commence a more thorough search. The structure right now is unstable. That's why no one has gone in and conduct a more thorough search. And as the investigation unfolds, we'll be able to ascertain a little bit more about what transpired in the sequence, whether it be an explosion, then fire, or vice versa. It's too difficult at this preliminary stage.
Did you see how many people actually lived in the house at the time?
I don't have the specific number. There's a basement tenant. There's the occupants of the main residence. All have been accounted for. I don't want to give a number in case that's inaccurate, but we have no reason to believe that anyone should have been in the home that's associated to the residence at the time.
Any suggestion that it's suspicious?
So right now, that designation of suspicious is not that significant at this course of the investigation. We don't know what happened. We don't know the cause of death, so it's going to be treated ultimately as suspicious. There's nothing overtly to indicate that any criminality has happened here. That's obviously subject to change. These investigations are complex. As debris is taken to another location and analyzed, some evidence may come to fact. But right now, there's nothing that stands out to us right now that this is a criminal investigation. And as is the case with most sudden death investigations, we treat them as though they're suspicious, and the majority of the time it turns out not to be.
Initially, there was a belief that there was nobody inside and no injuries.
Yes.
How did fire crews come across this person? Were they told there might actually be someone in the house, or did they stumble upon it? Can you elaborate a little bit on just how this change happened?
So it's very convoluted at the start of these. These are very fast-moving environments. So one of the first things that first responders need to ascertain when they get here is who might be inside for search and rescue efforts. I'm told that the house was fully engulfed on arrival, so priority is to contain it as much as possible. Any leading information at the time of response, if anyone's inside, changes the course of action for fire. I don't want to speak on their part. We had no information to suggest that people were inside at the time. However, that being said, on arrival, there were cars at the time in the driveway, so that's always a cause for concern that there may be home residents inside sleeping. And the problem is there does appear to have been some sort of an explosion take place, and that makes it ever more complicated inside as debris gets pushed, as the individual that's inside may have been covered or may have shifted from within the residence. So where exactly they were at the time, it's not even reliable at this point, and so we have an understanding of the structure and the layout. So that combined with the fact that we were able to make contact with everybody in the residence or verify well-being of those people, corroborated the fact that there should be nobody inside. When investigators went into the threshold that was safe, they made the discovery.
Are listening to officials giving an update on a fatal fire and explosion last night in Mississauga. The Ontario Fire Marshal's office spoke earlier. They're saying that the investigation is preliminary. They're going to return tomorrow and continue. They don't know the cause of the fire yet. They're going to bring in some heavy equipment tomorrow to help with this investigation, and they've got no details on the victim.
Meanwhile, police are involved. They do not know who this person who died is. Everybody who was supposed to be in that home was out of the country, so they're going to try to figure out who this person was. The coroner's involved with that, going to determine cause of death. If there was foul play, then that would trigger a police investigation. But certainly at this stage, lots more investigation to be had. We'll continue to follow this developing story.
Well, to other news, whether you're looking for full-time employment or just part-time work to earn some extra cash, you have to watch out for job scams.
They're rampant online, and while they may appear convincing, victims have lost their personal information along with thousands of dollars. Here's our Pat Foran with a consumer alert. Pat.
Thanks, Michelle and Nathan. You could see a fake posting on a job message board or get a text out of the blue asking if you're looking for work. Scammers are hoping you'll take the bait. They're trying to steal your personal and financial information and get you to send them money. Many people like watching movies, so does Abe Reese of Aurora. That's why he was excited to get a text message asking if he wanted a job as a movie reviewer.
They got in touch with me through text messages. It's reviewing films and rating them.
Reese says for about a month he watched and reviewed films. He was told he would be paid, but he needed to put in some of his own money first. He did, but grew concerned and contacted police.
They told me it was all a scam.
Reese was scammed out of $2,000.
I felt sad. I felt like, what am I going to do now?
We also did a story with Greg Burgos. He saw a job advertisement on TikTok and was scammed out of $11,000.
This is money that I was saving. This is money that I need.
Davanshi Podar saw a job posting on Instagram. It was a fake, and she was scammed out of $15,000.
$15,000 is not a small amount. It was all my savings.
We hate to hear about all of these job scams targeting these innocent job seekers.
Indeed is the world's largest job search website. It says criminals are targeting job seekers to steal their information and money. Some signs of a job scam: you receive a job offer you never applied for. There's no in-person interview required. You're offered high pay for easy work. You need to send money to earn money. There are vague job descriptions and unprofessional communication. When someone is looking for work, fraudsters will tell them what they want to hear.
We're going to pay you extremely well. You're going to have flexible hours. You're going to have every benefit you could ever imagine. But we're not going to give you much information about the job. Those are all big red flags.
Reese was trying to find extra income to help his family. If you're looking for work, do your research, check legitimate job boards and company websites. Never pay in advance for expenses or training, or give out your banking information. And job scams are a huge problem, and it gets worse when unemployment rises. In 2024, Canadians lost almost $50 million to employment fraud. So if you're looking for work, be cautious with job postings and job listings. On your side, I'm Pat Foran.
If you have a consumer story idea, email us at alert@ctv.ca.
Well, how nice. We're into a little stretch of much-needed sunshine. Certainly decent conditions at this hour. Still cold at night, but I like the fact that we've got another day of this.
Yeah, it wasn't a bad day. Sunshine, a few clouds, but I can handle this. Also, it's better to know that you've got double digits coming in a couple of days. That helps.
Yeah, it's coming. It's coming. And much like today, we look to tomorrow have the sunshine for the start of the day. So that will be welcomed. A nice way to kick things off. Once again, we do expect some cloud cover to increase. And then, yes, it's Thursday where the temperature soars, but we also have some active weather to talk about. In fact, we're going to begin there with a look at the satellite and radar, because we do have a little bit of activity around Niagara region, in through Durham region too. You might be seeing a few snowflakes, but this is not overly significant. There's been a little snow to the east of Georgian Bay as well. Next system that we are watching for, this one's going to bring snow once again to northern parts of Ontario, the Nickel Belt, and then for us here around the Golden Horseshoe, looks to be mainly a rain event, but look what happens. A couple of different precip types going to be possible. There's about this time tomorrow. Once again, east end of the GTA, maybe some flurries, and then some scattered showers into your Wednesday evening around around the Greater Toronto area. Thursday itself is a mostly cloudy day. And then as we make our way late into the afternoon and into the evening, we've got rain in most cases, but we've also got the possibility of perhaps some snow. And around the city of Toronto, we wouldn't expect any measurable snow to stick around all that long. However, it is possible that we could pick up a trace to a centimeter of snow, maybe slightly more than that around into the Niagara region. Rainfall amounts are going to increase the further southwest you go. And again, Thursday is our mild day, but it's also the unsettled one. We're at 4 degrees right now at Pearson Airport. Seasonal average is 7 degrees. We struggled to get there again today, but again, it was a bit of an improvement in many areas. Overnight tonight, this is an improvement too. -3 degrees, not quite as cold as last night. We woke up to a temperature of -7 early this morning. Daytime high tomorrow, once again, +5, slightly cooler than average. Southerly winds this time. And while we start off with a little bit of sun, we do see that cloud cover increase. Let's talk about the temperature on Thursday. 14 degrees is what we're expecting, but look at the sharp drop at night. -6 degrees for an overnight low. And then into Friday, we are going to struggle to make it past the freezing mark. 1 degree is what we're forecasting at this time. We are anticipating mainly sunny skies, so at least there's that. Some sunshine over the weekend too, chance of flurries on Saturday, and it looks like we will be near seasonal for the early part of next week. That's your look at the weather for now. Stay with us. CTV News. We'll be right back.
Hamilton Health Sciences has launched an innovative program that helps move patients away from overcrowded emergency rooms while ensuring they get comprehensive assessments and care.
CTV's health reporter Pauline Chan visited the new unit today.
It's called the Urgent Medicine Unit, or UMed, and it's the first of its kind worldwide.
Hi, I'm Dr. Raza. It's nice to meet you today. So when a patient comes into the emergency room, the physicians there often have to decide, do you need to be admitted to the hospital or can we send you home safely? And oftentimes we end up admitting people to hospital because it's the safest thing to get patients the care they need.
But now the UMed unit provides an alternative.
They'll get the exact same level of care as if they were admitted to the hospital. They'll see a physician, they'll get a comprehensive assessment, they'll get blood work, they'll get any imaging or pictures taken of their body, so that hopefully by the end of the day, we've come up with a diagnosis and we put together a treatment plan.
For Hamilton General, the day hospital has been a huge help in easing the burden on the emergency department, and patients are happy to avoid long waits in the ER.
Lung infections, skin infections. We see a lot of heart disease, so people who might have blockages in the heart or abnormal heart rhythms. We might see some neurological concerns, lung disease, asthma.
Since the day hospital opened in the fall, they've had more than 1,000 visits.
Right now, they're only operating Monday to Friday from 7 a.m. to 7 p.m., but they're hoping to expand to 7 days a week.
When patients come in this program, we send them home with a kit. So a tablet, a blood pressure cuff monitor, so we can actually monitor their vitals at home and communicate them over video to monitor them. So it's kind of building towards like a hospital at home model.
And Dr. Samir Raza says for many types of patients, that will be the way of the future. Pauline Chan, CTV News.
On the markets, the Canadian dollar closed up at 72.66 cents U.S. Oil was down $9 a barrel, closing at just under $73. And the TSX closed up nearly 60 points to finish the day at 31,941.59. Finally, tonight is changing the skyline of the city. The Pinnacle Sky Tower is one of 9 super tall skyscrapers popping up across the downtown. At 106 stories, the Sky Tower is now the tallest of them all. CTV's Beth McDonnell brings us the view from the top.
Take a look at the view from the edge, then down. This is 109 stories up in the sky. It's the same height as the main observation deck of the CN Tower. Pinnacle Sky Tower goes even a bit higher than that, reaching a total elevation of 352 meters. CTV News Toronto took a tour with Anson Kwok, the VP of Sales and Marketing, and architect Nadine El-Ghazar. First up, going up 99 floors in an elevator.
It's a bit narrow here, so just watch your shoulders.
We then climb flights of stairs inside the tower's tapered upper floors to unfinished sections where workers are still busy building. and the top.
I love coming up here, actually. To see it in real life is very satisfying, and obviously you can see it from almost anywhere in the city now, so it's really kind of gratifying.
It was immediately apparent that this was a monumental project, not only because of its height, which of course is amazing, but also its impact on the skyline.
A super tall skyscraper must be 300 meters high. That's the equivalent to about 3 city blocks. And right now, Toronto is in a super tall skyscraper boom. There are at least 9 super talls in the works or rising in Toronto, including One Bloor West at 85 stories, the country's first super tall building. Pinnacle also has a sister 95-story building being planned next to Sky Tower.
In Toronto, we kind of stopped at around 60 stories for a long time, and now we're over 100. So it's having that vision. And with a city with still trying to battle transit and traffic, having more people live close to their workplace is really was the original goal.
The team is excited and proud to reach this point of construction. Planning for Sky Tower began in 2012. Its 12-sided polygon with white metal framing is meant to evoke a 12-sided jewel.
To design and build a tower that is distinct but maintains its elegance in the skyline was really something that was important to us.
A restaurant is being planned for the 106th floor. A hotel is making up the first 12 floors, and residential units up to the 56th floor are expected to be ready this fall. Beth McDonnell, CTV News.
Well, the nights and the mornings are still cool, but we have some decent days ahead.
We do. We have some pretty mild ones, and we're trying for a sunset out there. It looks not bad at this time. I want to show you this next board because I think it does a good job of showing the temperature swing over the next 3 days here. Near normal tomorrow, 14 degrees on Thursday, plummeting temperature at night, and then only 1 degree on Friday. The mild day Thursday, we have the chance of showers. The cold day Friday, we're back into some sunshine, and then it looks like a chance of flurries as we head into the day on Saturday. Michelle and Nathan.
And lots of sunshine in there. Thank you, Lindsay. That's it for us, but you can join Omar Sachedina tonight at 11 for CTV National News, followed by Zoraida Allman with your next local newscast at 11:30.
In the meantime, our coverage continues anytime on CP24 and at ctvnewstoronto.ca.
For Lindsay Morrison and all of us here at CTV News, thanks for watching. Have a great night.